5 books that you should read in your lifetime is totally subjective. Hi friends, my name is Bart, welcome back to the channel, and this week I want to talk to you about some of my favorite books. Books that have entered my brain and changed the way how I think and look at life. Now, each of these books have been very influential to me, and I believe that they can challenge the way you think. Now, as always, I've linked the books I talk about in this video in the description box below, so you can do your own research. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Now, this first book answers a really important question. Why do we care so much about the opinion of others? This is Status Anxiety by Alain, who is a modern-day thinker, a philosopher if you want. And he's the one who has given this universal anxiety, this universal condition a name, status anxiety. Now, in this book, he explores the reasons and the history behind that one anxiety, that one thought in our mind. Why do we care so much about what others think of us? And he does so through arts, through economics, through philosophy, but he also does it in a very funny and entertaining way. It has you asking yourself questions like, do you worry about how well you're doing? Are you envious of your friend's success? And are you suffering from status anxiety? But it also offers a few solutions and examples of people that overcame their anxieties. This is a very funny and very thought-provoking book that I would recommend to anyone, especially nowadays. It might have some age already, but in these days of social media and vanity metrics and chasing after the next subscriber and liker, this book can offer you a lot of insight in our thought process and in our behavior. So, as a first one on this list, Status Anxiety by Alain de Botton. And if philosophy didn't chase you away already, let's get into economics. Because this book asks the important questions, like which is more dangerous, a gun or a swimming pool? Do parents really matter? And what do a teacher and a sumo wrestler have in common? This is Freakonomics. Now, don't let the fact that this is a book about economics scare you off. Because this book reads like a thriller, a whodunit, a mystery book. In fact, the cover here says, if Indiana Jones would be an economist, his name would be Stephen Levitt, the author of this book. Now, this is a book that studies the everyday riddles of life, from parenting to sports to crime, and it uses economics to explain our behavior and explain the numbers behind things. Because economics is at the root of it, the study of incentives, of how people get what they want. This book offers some groundbreaking wisdoms and insights and turns conventional wisdom upside down. It is one of the most readable books about economics that I've ever seen. And while it was first published in 2005 already, I still would recommend this book to anyone who would like some insight in what happens all around us. So do yourself a favor and pick up Freakonomics by Stephen D. Levitt. Now, for something totally different is our next book, a book about plants. This is Rootbound, Rewilding Life by Alain Vincent. Now, I suffered from a massive reading slump a few years ago, mostly due to suffering from a really bad burnout in my job. And this is the book that got me into reading again, slowly but surely. Rootbound is a strange combination between an autobiography and a book about plants. In this book, Alice Vincent, the author, tells her story as a 20-something music journalist who tries to live in London, fails to find any affordable accommodation, running around in her hectic life as a music journalist, going from one release party to the other festival, and suddenly her relationship ends. She has to move out of their joint apartment and finds herself at a loss. Temporarily moving back to her parents, to the countryside, rekindles a long-lost love for plants and gardening. And it's that love that puts her on a whole different journey and actually saves her. Now, this book is ever so recognizable and relatable, and especially if you are in your 20s or early 30s, pick up this book, because this book will offer you a mirror of your own life. But it's not just an autobiography. It's also a book about the history of plants and the way people have used plants to improve their lives. Did you know, for example, that there was a craze for ferns in the Victorian age, especially amongst women? Not because they were so into ferns or plants, but because heading out into the countryside, into nature, without a chaperone was virtually impossible unless you are collecting ferns. The quest for these plants became a quest of personal freedom. This book is riddled with all kinds of interesting historical facts about plants, about the way we treat plants and the way plants treat us. So if you want a very relatable and heartfelt book about your life, but also about plants, pick up this one. Rootbound, Rewilding a Life by Alain Vincent. Now for our fourth book, I'm going to fangirl a bit. I'm not much into celebrity culture, but if I had one celebrity crush, it would be Noreena Hertz. Now Noreena Hertz has been around for a while now, and she has been writing some of my favorite books of all times. I once met her in the days of the silent takeover, and I'm still starstruck. She is, without any doubt, one of the most intelligent and critical thinkers of our age. Now, this book, her most recent one, The Lonely Century, had me shocked. The bottom line of this book is simple. Loneliness has become the defining condition of the 21st century. This book combines a decade's worth of research with first-person interviews. How lonely are we? Spoilers? It's not good. Especially since the global pandemic and social distancing, we have never been more lonely than today. But we are fighting back. Did you know that you could rent a friend? Did you know that you could pay for cuddles in the US? And that elderly people in Japan are knitting bonnets for their robot caretakers? There are solutions, and this book is full of them. This book does not only offer a clear vision on what the government should do or what large corporations should do, but it also offers solutions you can apply at home, at your work, in your neighborhood. It explains why the 21st century is the lonely century and what we can do about it. So do yourself and everyone around you a pleasure and pick up a copy of The Lonely Century by Noreena Hertz and break out of isolation by reading on your own. Now the fifth and last book on this list is called Sufficient by Tom Petherick. Now if the pandemic has taught us one thing, it is that a lot of us want to slow down. We want to change towards a gentle, simple and more sustainable way of life. We want to slow down, consume less and eat better. But how do you start that journey? How do you start that kind of change, however and wherever you live in the world? Well, this book is the answer to that question. Now, this book is not about threatening you with doom scenarios or telling you off because you're inflicting harm to the planet and yourself. No, the key to this book is understanding that we have enough. This book is here to inspire, educate and encourage us to make small changes that have a big impact. Tom Petherick, the author of this book, is not just very knowledgeable about the subject, but he's very passionate about it. And it shows. It will not just show you how to make these daily changes in your life, but it also infects you with a desire to do so. This book tackles a wide range of solutions, from recycling and composting to energy saving and how to treat and recycle used water. And while you might not be able to follow up on every guideline in this book, it has something for everyone. If you want a modern guide to sustainable living, then Sufficient by Tom Petherick is a great place to start. Now, these were 5 non-fiction books, and if you would like me to make a similar list with fiction books, let me know by liking this video or leaving a comment, so I know you've enjoyed this video. That was it for me for this week. Thank you for watching. Bye.